Good evening on this election day. I'm Tim Collins.
And I'm Taylor Epps. This is a Democracy in Action election update.
For most of the day, Central New Yorkers had to battle the rain on their way to the polls. Our own Rebecca Castor is here in studio with the latest weather update. Rebecca?
Hi, Taylor and Tim. Right now, there are scattered showers across central New York with temperatures reaching to about 48 degrees. The rain shouldn't last too much longer, though, so if you're just getting off of work, right now is a great time to head to the polls to get in your vote before they close at 9 p.m. It should stay pretty clear the rest of the night with temps only dropping to the high 40s. So, Tim and Taylor, if you plan on voting even later tonight, you should be in the clear.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. Glad to hear it's clearing up.
We are now going to check in with two of our own reporters who are out at the polls. Natalie Mayer is at the Believers Chapel in Cicero, and Nia Brooks is at the Fayetteville Free Library. We'll start with Natalie, where the raindrops are back in Cicero. How are the voters holding up in the rain?
That's right, the rain is back in full force, unfortunately. Earlier this afternoon, we had a clear, sunny afternoon, and we may have spoken too soon. Around 4:30 p.m., there was a downpour here in Cicero, and we've seen raindrops pretty steadily ever since. However, ironically, at this same time, we did see more voters start to come out to the polls towards the end of the workday, and the lines to vote here at the Believers Chapel have remained steady since the end of the workday. Over 2,000 ballots have been cast here at this location. I've spoken to many of the volunteers working. They say this is indeed the unprecedented turnout that we had all expected. And with just less than 3 hours until the polls, we will certainly see if the voter turnout continues, if we see this steady turnout going into the evening. Like I said, those here in Cicero say this is an unprecedented turnout. Over 2,000 ballots have been cast. The rain is still coming down, but voters are beating all of those odds. So we will see as the numbers continue to come in Cicero. We'll keep you updated in Democracy in Action. I'm Natalie Mayer in Cicero.
If you have yet to head out to the polls, an important note to consider before you leave is where exactly you should be voting. Throughout every town in Onondaga County, there are polling places within a series of fire departments, churches, local schools, and libraries.
Be aware that there's also a series of new polling places around the county this year, and that your voting site could now be at one of these new locations. New polling places include Grace Evangelical Covenant Church in the town of Clay, the centers at St. Camilla's in Camillus, Bishop Ludden Junior and Senior High School in Geddes, and the Southwood Fire Department in Lafayette. Remember, you can only cast your vote at the polling place you are assigned to.
If you are heading to the polls during the final hours of the election, we are here to remind you that as a registered voter, there are a series of actions you can take if you are told that you are not on the voter roll once you get there.
If you find yourself in this situation before you leave the poll site, here are a few actions you can take. Confirm on your own state's online database that you're registered to vote. Confirm that you are at the right polling place. Make sure the poll worker is spelling your name correctly.
If none of those actions result in a solution, you can ask to cast a provisional ballot. If this is your only option, ask for written instructions about what to do to ensure that your provisional ballot will be counted. Also, ask for a number you can call to find out if your vote was counted.
Now, Election Day may be dwindling down, but it's not done yet. Our Nia Brooks is in Fayetteville to tell us how important voting can be for third-party candidates.
I'm live at the Fayetteville Free Library, where the rain or drastic changes in weather have not stopped people from voting. People are coming home from work and going straight to the ballots and making their voices and opinions heard. A voter talked to me earlier, and she said that she voted because she wanted to change the traditional two-party voting system.
Well, in this particular case, it was Howie Hawkins, who's running for governor. And I chose him partially because I wanted to make sure that the Green Party keeps being on the ticket. I voted for Jill Stein instead of either Hillary or Trump because I didn't want either of those alternatives, and I really want to have another option.
There are more people still coming into the library every single moment here right behind me. Voting sites do not close for another 4 hours. We'll have more in later newscasts and on NCCNewsOnline.com. Nia Brooks, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Naya. Now, before you head to the polls, you may want to know about the major races that are taking place today. Incumbent John Kakko seeks re-election for New York's 24th congressional district against Democrat Dana Balter. The two candidates have disagreed on a number of issues, including the Affordable Care Act, taxes, and gun control. Republican Claudia Tenney and Democrat Anthony Brandisi are the candidates for New York's 22nd congressional district. The race for this seat was expected to be a close one. According to a Syracuse.com Siena College poll released last week, Brandisi held a slight lead with 46% of the vote compared to Tenney's 45%. In the state Senate race, Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand seeks re-election against Republican Shel Farley. Gillibrand joined the Senate in 2010, replacing Hillary Clinton, and won her first full-term election in 2012. Finally, in New York's governor's race, Democrat Andrew Cuomo is up against Republican Mark Molinaro. Major issues dividing the two candidates include taxes and New York's unemployment rate.
There's been a major push all over social media today, but especially on Twitter, for people to get out and vote. The hashtag iVoted has been trending all day, with people all over the country posing with their stickers saying I voted. Looking here at the candidates, Republican incumbent Claudia Tenney has been bearing all of the cold weather and rain and things like that, and going out to polling places in the 22nd district and snapping a quick pic. Here is some pictures of her in the city of Oneida talking to some voters who look pretty happy to be out here today. And then moving on to her challenger, Anthony Brindisi. He was up pretty late last night, 3:01 a.m., telling people it's time to get out and vote and encouraging people to make it happen. Now, he was up late last night and up pretty early this morning, about 7 a.m., to give voters information on polling places. And then looking at incumbents, we've seen a trend where incumbents running for office have been pretty low in their Twitter presence. Looking at the 24th district candidates, incumbent Katko hasn't tweeted at all today. Here's just a retweet of him speaking at Henninger High School yesterday morning to some of the students. Meanwhile, his challenger Balter has been tweeting a lot today, a total of 9 times last time I checked. And she started today by encouraging people to get out and vote and even offering people rides to polling places. Around noon, Balter says that the polls are the turnout at the polls has been pretty nice in this district, and she says that she encourages people to stay online if they're there, even when polls are closed. Looking at candidates for the gubernatorial race, Mark Molinaro, the challenger, has been pretty active on Twitter. Today's the day, and as of 6 a.m., polls are open until 9 p.m. He's been pretty active, getting people to get out and vote. He's even been flipping pizzas on Twitter, saying that he's going to keep working to get out the vote. Meanwhile, incumbent Andrew Cuomo has not tweeted about this year's race at all. As results come in, we'll see if incumbents start to head for social media. For Democracy in Action, I'm Taylor Epps. Back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Taylor, and thanks for watching this Democracy in Action update from the NCC newsroom at Syracuse University. Our next update will be at 8 o'clock. In the meantime, continue to explore our site to see, hear, and read stories about the voters of Onondaga County.